Welcome to Perspectives. I'm Randall Mark. On today's show, we look at the complex issue of cross-cultural adoption. What are the challenges? What are the joys that are faced both by the parents and by the children? We talk with a few couples who are adopting from Ethiopia, and then I get a local perspective and talk about the needs about adopting here domestically. Approximately 50% of the 80 million people living in Ethiopia are under the age of 15, and several million of those are orphans. I had a chance to visit an Imagine Adoption Agency in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and as I held those little babies, I also had a chance to talk to Solomon Dababa about how his agency places over 100 babies in families in Canada.
Our organization is the only organization that is encouraging and processing the meeting between the birth mom and the adoptive parents.
Wow.
This is very important for both the adoptive parents and the birth mom. If we start with the birth mom, it builds confidence in the birth mom that the baby or the toddler is going to a specific place, to a specific family, and she hopes and she understands that this baby is not just going to unspecified family. It builds a confidence in the birth mom. And on the other hand, the same confidence is built by the adoptive families, because the adoptive families are naturally interested to know from where the child came, who the parents are, and so on and so forth. Because unlike the abandoned children, the children with their parents or natural parents, the family, the adoptive family should know. This also creates a very good opportunity for the adoptive families to understand and to know the background of the baby. And we encourage them to ask as many questions as possible, even if some of these questions might sound silly culturally. As human beings, we are interested in our origin and from where we come. When the baby realizes that he or she is different from this family, he or she start to think about from where did I come, how did I end up here. So the purpose of this meeting is to prepare the basic background and equip the adoptive families with all the necessary information, both for themselves as a family and also to tell the boy or the girl when she grows up about all this. This has another specific advantage. It builds up the confidence between the adopted child and the adoptive family. The child would be very appreciative of the information that he is getting or she is getting. He or she will also be very appreciative because of the transparency and the knowledgeability of the family. And he will begin to appreciate the love and the concern that this family has given to this adoptive family. And he will think of trying to find out the ways and means on how he or she would be able to repair for this unfathomable love.
After the break, we hear some more with Solomon, and also we meet a Canadian mother who's wanting to adopt from Ethiopia. Welcome back. So impressed with how much passion Solomon had to rescue these orphan children. He believes that every family that adopts from Ethiopia brings a little piece of Africa into their home.
Anything bad that happens on the globe, whether it happens in Iraq, Afghanistan, Congo, or any place in the world, first of all targets the babies and the toddlers who do not have the means of any protection. Their peace is disrupted by forces to which they are not parties. And therefore, adopting a baby and taking it back to Canada is rescuing these babies not only from poverty, but also from the lack of peace that would sometimes be disrupted by local disorders or internal displacement or wars or natural calamities and so on and so forth. The family is not going to be the same family again.
Right.
There is a very special human ingredient that has been added into this family, which forces the family to revisit their plan in the future, to make another input into this process, because another sort of love is coming into this family. So this family is going to be more educated and more intelligent. Not so much because they are going to count their days in college, but also they are going to get their knowledge by learning to help the child grow, by learning how a child is taken care of. Because for some families, this happens for the first time in their life. People want to adopt from Ethiopia or elsewhere. They need to have a proper education for this, because this is not an emotional process. This is not an infatuation. This is not an emotional attachment to a baby who apparently looks very nice and could be hugged here and there. No. This is a very responsible action that should be taken with full knowledge of the current and the future responsibility that this family should have. This is not a matter of pursuing self-interest. This is not a matter of adding the number of the children you have from 2 to 3 or from 3 to 4. No, this is not quantity, it's quality. So, adoption is a noble activity that should be done by responsible people who can be able to think beyond and above the horizon.